These are the images that are being seen around the world tonight as Julian Assange is carried out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London. You'll actually be able to hear some of his protests against his arrest. Now, yeah, let's do that. Let's listen in.
No worries.
Do you hear him right there, Trump administration? He appears to be pleading at first. You hear him say something about the British. He says the British need to resist. The British need to resist.
No worries.
And then he also appears to be saying something about the Trump administration, apparently referencing that the Trump administration is the one that are doing this. Assange, as you know, is the founder of WikiLeaks. He's a computer programmer. He's perhaps most notably, he's a self-proclaimed crusader and disseminator of embarrassing information about the U.S. military and its actions in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. And hello again, everybody. We are coming to you live tonight from our West Coast Bureau of RT America in Los Angeles, from where we will be bringing you this special report, the arrest of Julian Assange. Assange is being arrested at the behest, in part, of the United States government for charges, by the way, the British are also bringing forth. The U.S. in particular is charging him with conspiracy to commit a computer hack of U.S. government information by encouraging insider Chelsea Manning. Now, I'm going to try and read to you here what the Justice Department has put out. They put this out a few hours ago, trying to explain in a statement what they're essentially saying he did. Remember, there's several versions here. This is the U.S.'s version, not the British version. Manning and Assange engaged in real-time discussions regarding Manning's transmission of classified records to Assange. The discussion, the Justice Department goes on to say, also reflects Assange's actively encouraging Manning to provide more information. And they go on to say, during an exchange, Manning told Assange that after this upload, that's all I really have got left. So that's Manning telling Assange, look, I got nothing else for you. To which Assange replies, curious eyes never run dry, in my experience. Obviously, what they're saying at Justice is that he was egging him on, right? Meanwhile, tonight, there is controversy regarding whether the arrest of Assange occurred under false pretenses, with Ecuadorian officials alleging that they were being pressured by the Brits that Assange would not be extradited to the United States or any other country that allows capital punishment. By the way, that hasn't happened yet. Here is former Ecuadorian President Correa talking about what's been going on today.
I think Moreno deserves the title of the greatest traitor of history. He could compete with Judas. The state of Ecuador, in accordance with international law and guided by its own national pride, was simply obliged to protect the person to whom it granted asylum. And instead, they simply gave him up and allowed the British police to enter our embassy. Just imagine for a moment if it was the Ecuadorian police entering the US embassy. It was a decision by Moreno, who wants revenge for having been accused of corruption, because WikiLeaks released documents proving it, not to mention other evidence like correspondence, bills, etc., all now online. So Moreno is taking revenge on Assange. I think the consequences will be even harder, because although I don't want to look ahead, the possibility that the UK will not extradite Julian Assange to the United States is very unlikely.
So this is a story that we here at RT America have been covering extensively for the better part of a year now. And here's where we are right now. It begins the argument, essentially, over whether Julian Assange is a crusader for truth who had the courage to report what the government was doing, which he thought was wrong, or is he a careless manipulator who breached the security of the United States by divulging important secrets that are important to the United States government. Here's another perspective. Bill Binney, he's a former NSA whistleblower himself. He is part of what, here's part of what he's sharing tonight regarding the arrest of Julian Assange. Let's take a listen.
With the case of Julian, the whole objective there is to make sure that nothing is published that they don't want published. So in other words, a shadow government, if you will, which is not unique to the U.S. I mean, it involves all the countries participating in these secret agreements to do, for example, bulk collection on the entire population. What they want to do is ensure that none of the truth about what they're doing gets out to their own public. They don't want their public, like here in the U.S., we don't want U.S. citizens to be fully informed so they can make an informed decision when voting or opposing any motions coming in Congress or so on. They want the public to be silent, obedient, and submissive, and they want them to be told only what their agenda wants them to hear.
We're going to have a lot of perspectives on this. That's one. We have a multitude of guests. We have correspondents standing by, all working on this special edition of the News with Rick Sanchez, where we are committed, as you know, to the notion that it really is time to do news again. I'm Rick Sanchez. You found us on YouTube, and that's awesome. But you know what? I'm also live every night at 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern on DirecTV and Dish and cable and satellite, the RT app, and Pluto TV. I'll see you there.